It'd be cool if you could, if you could like, probably build one, but kind of like the canned foods racks where you pull a can
Yeah,
out and
that's
they
what I'm
all,
talking about.
slide down.
That's what I'm talking
Except
about.
for, yeah,
What would be
except for a
perfect for
few.
that? Or I'm gonna go. I'm not even gonna put a TM on this, guys. You know what would be perfect for that? And you've got to be old enough to understand. You remember the metal slides that burned your ass?
Yeah.
It would be perfect, man. You take one of those, you just put it on like a 10 degree, and every time you pulled one out,
Yeah.
slide down. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. 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 Could be
You
done.
don't need the whole slide. I mean, but
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I just think it's just really frustrating. The whole inflation thing. It's really unnecessary, but that's just the way our system works, I think. It's designed to work that way to increase that bottom line. And with inflation, you've also got the fact that everything's made like crap these days. It's made to break within a year or so, so you have to buy another one.
yeah,
And when you think about that, that's part of inflation. It's costing you more. You've got the shrinkflation aspect of all of this stuff where it's that frog in the boiling pot of water thing again. We don't really notice it, but if we were to go back 20 years and look at the size of a box of cereal or how much cereal
oh
you
yeah,
actually got in a box, you'd be like, holy crap, this is how much we got.
yep.
Sometimes because we don't eat a lot of sweets and stuff like that. So I think it was Lisa Chocodiles or something like that. She really wanted Chocodiles because she hadn't had them in like 10 years or something. And she found some, and they were like 2/3 the size of what they used to be. And it's all ridiculous, and it's all a good reason, to stay up on your preps and get the things while you can.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
It's insurance. That's what it comes down to. No matter what it is that you're buying as a prep, it's insurance. It's
mhm.
just that easy.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, that is one of the things that, like I was talking about when you first start out, you're preparing for disasters and this and that. And as you grow in preparedness, you start to realize it starts to become a lifestyle. And you start to realize that, hey, if I can take advantage of things before they just get completely out of hand, then I need to do that. And the more we do beforehand, if things do completely go off the rails and prices do completely skyrocket, we're going to at least have, depending on how much we have put away, we're going to at least have buffer time to maybe navigate through that or get through it long enough to be able to figure something else out. Hopefully, and maybe it does go on for longer than we have the means to do that for. And that's where the homesteading, like Grumpy Acres and Tag and all that, that's where that comes in, is being able to produce your own food and withstand all of that stuff through those long periods. But that's kind of what it's all about, is preparing, doing that stuff. That's kind of why I got the harvest right. One of the big reasons I got the harvest right, because if I can get meat is my main thing. If I can get meat while it's low and freeze dry that stuff and just store massive amounts of it, when hamburger is, $14 a pound in the next year and a half or whenever, I'm not going to have to worry about that as much, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Protein is a very serious issue when you talk about food storage. And like the path that you're on is great, because then you can freeze dry all of basically any meat that you want to, and then rehydrate it later and eat it. Yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit up front, but you can do it over and over and over. And eventually that machine will pay for itself.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the plan. And I've tried some stuff. Chicken in it is fantastic. You can put hamburgers and all sorts of things in it. Real quick, and I want to get back onto the protein thing with you, but Kanzi was talking about, and this is a very good point, boiling frogs, ostriches sticking their heads in the sand, too many poor memory goldfish in society. That is the mentality of most people. It's short memory spans, and we're guilty of that too. But people have short memory spans. Things become normal too easily for people. They forget about politicians are a perfect example of this. They're all lying pieces of crap, right? But people
Pretty much.
forget about that when once they get on the campaign trail, they do this and they do that and they say this and they say that, and people are all on board, or they either love them or hate them, and then they get in there and people completely forget about all the bullshit that happened before. The gas prices used to be $2 a gallon. People forget that that's what the gas prices used to be. The meat, I mean, the list goes on and on. People just sort of get used to the new normal, and they're just okay with it. That taxes is another perfect example. They take taxes out of your paycheck, so you never really even see it. That is 100% intentional. I guarantee it. Because if people had to write a check to the government every month, like us that have our own businesses sort of do,
Yeah.
you start to figure out, hey man, what I'm giving a little bit too much money to Ukraine here. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we do get, and not to go off in the left field, but we do get every single thing that we do has a tax associated with it.
Hmm.
Before you even get your paycheck, there's a tax. Then you got to pay a tax on this and a tax on that. And it's like everybody, it's almost like 20 little mafias all coming after your pocketbook, paying protection. Because if not, we're going to take your stuff or put you in jail.
Yeah, yeah. Shoot, by the time you get product into your home, whether that's meat, whether that's a car, whether whatever it is, a candy bar, you've been taxed 3-4 times on that dollar bill that you use for that. Back to protein real quick, and then I think we're gonna get out of here tonight. But what's some advice as far as if a lot of people don't have the freeze dryer. You've got canned meats, you've got even protein powders and things like that. What are some of your tips as far as people storing protein? We've got eggs, we've got chickens, so we've got that they produce eggs. Like I said, I've got the freeze dryer. You've got the canned meats, legacy foods. In this contest, I'm giving away a bag of freeze dried beef dices. But what are some of your advice as far as protein and all of that as for SHTF reasons? Whether you're talking about something that's a couple weeks, a week, or something longer term than that.
Well, I hate to say this. I really hate to say this, but I'm huge on canned meats. You can buy them at any store. It's basically automatic portion control.
Yeah.
And the expiration dates on them don't really mean anything. Because most of the food is actually sterilized before, a lot of people don't even know it. Did you know the food in MREs is actually sterilized before they package it? Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah. So most of the stuff that's going into these cans is basically sterilized. So, as long as you take care of them, they're not going to be super mobile. But, if you've got shelves upon shelves, if you got one of those metal shelves that used to be $35, that's now $160, that you might find in a bakery or something like that. And you fill one of those, like every shelf with canned chicken, beef, I don't think I've seen any canned pork in a while. Canned turkey, all of those things. You will have easily 6 months worth of protein, no problem. And then mix that up. Go to whatever company that you like to use and get yourself the freeze dried different proteins. The beef, the chicken. I know the beef is more expensive than the chicken. And then you can learn to use those in the appropriate portions. People have a tendency to just go crazy with the scooper. They don't realize that it's basically a third of the size it's supposed to be when it's dried up.
Yeah.
And do that. And just mix those things up. And God, like you said, the chickens, I had 4 chickens forever. And every day those chickens gave me 4 eggs.
Yeah.
So in the end, they paid for themselves. But yeah, I mean, if you can do that, then that's great, and then obviously if you've got land and you want to, raise cattle or whatever it is, I say, have fun with that. But yeah, it's the easiest, fastest way to get prepped up at the lowest cost, and it's like, I still use the 6-can method. I go to Walmart. Every time I go to Walmart, I don't care if I'm going in there for a bag or a pack of gum. I get 6 cans of something, and it's always at least 1 can of protein.
Yeah. And see, we've sort of gone away, not really gone away from the canned food thing, but we don't do it near as much as we used to because we just don't use it like we used to. We're more of the frozen vegetable type thing. Mm-hmm. And honestly, we probably should, because that is something that we should have more food storage of that. But yeah, I've tried to force myself, and we always just, it's sort of like falling off the wagon, right? We always stop. And honestly, I like canned green beans better than I like frozen green beans. Yeah. So But I just never think about it. It's always that. But yeah, it's going to be much better to have those canned things than the frozen things, because if you're without energy, and that's a huge factor in preparedness too. We could go for another hour talking about all this preparedness crap, but that's another thing. But if you're going without energy, you're going to need those canned foods. But all you got to do with a can of meat is open it, a can of tuna, a pouch of chicken, whatever. Just open it, and you're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have anything to add before we get out of here tonight? Cool conversation, man. I appreciate you last minute joining in.
Yeah, anytime.
have-
Man, anytime.
Yeah.
I want people to know about if you're going to be going to prepper camp this year. I'm actually going to be there. You'll find me at the walking around or sitting down at the It's Doomsday podcast. I'm going to be helping that guy out this year. And we're going to be looking for a lot of different things. And this is also in preparation for next year's prep stock. So next year, I will not go to prepper camp. I'll go to prep stock, which is brand new. We don't even have the web page for it yet, but some people know about it. If you want to follow what's going on with prep stock, go ahead and find me. I'm on all the things. It's local prepper, all one word. That we'll slowly be rolling that out. And it's going to be more education focused. Yeah, there will be vendors there, but it's not going to be, hey, I'm the greatest guy ever. I did this, that, and the other thing, and here's my background, and now come to my tent and buy my trash. We're not doing any of that. We're not doing any of that. So
yeah. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. When and you plan to have that ready to roll next year?
Yeah, it's going to be 2024. It's going to be at a North Carolina state park. We've already got the site laid out. We've already reserved the site. And now we just got to start basically knocking this out. I'm going to go find the vendors and we had to cancel this year because nobody wanted to come, and nobody wanted to come for two reasons. One, there was this really convoluted sleep plan that was confusing a lot of people. We actually had like a bunkhouse, but nobody wanted to sleep in a bunkhouse with another person. And the other was this place was so far in the Tennessee mountains that cell phones didn't exist. It was really, really, really bad, which I don't have a super problem with. But let's face it, a lot of people don't want to be without their cell phones.
Yeah, that used to be a good thing. Go somewhere and you didn't have you couldn't use your cell phone. Now it's like Armageddon.
Yeah, and honestly, the place they charged way too much just to use their site, and had way too many restrictions. We just found a better spot, and we're going to. It's going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, Tag's in the chat too. What's it going on, Tag? Life Done Free, got a cool YouTube channel as well. He does the sort of the Midwest. Is it the Midwest Preparedness Project, Tag? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Him and Grumpy Acres are part of that. So what you're doing is sort of the same thing. I hate, and Brian and I have talked about this before. Out here in Colorado, we've gone to a prepper convention. And it just, that type of situation, it just bugs me, because you walk in and it's basically booths of people trying to sell you the trinkets and gadgets that we see on a daily basis. And I think it's different than, say, if I'm going to a gun show, that's what I want, right? I want to go in and see the booths and all the shiny toys and all that stuff. But as far as preparedness, I want more of, and this is kind of what we've been talking about the whole show, is that the camaraderie, the community, the learning, the skills, and all that different stuff. Yes, there are things, people do want to support the preppers and all that and buy some of their stuff, but that can't be the main focus. I think that people lose their interest when it's like that. I think Lisa and I probably we did one lap around the place and said, okay, this is junk.
We've seen it and owned half this stuff already. Did we just give people $40 a ticket?
Yeah.
Well, we're looking at the ticket prices already, and right now we've already started at like $18. So you could literally get in on this, get your ticket, and then forget about it, and it wouldn't be worse than losing 2 Starbucks coffees.